about some D&D stories. I'm using the people that have posted, that is Audio Library. Audio Library is a safest YouTube channel dedicated to promote vlog, not copyright music, royalty free music, and creative common music for content creators. So I have decided to subscribe to them because this makes it easier for me to have music in some of my videos and live streams. What's up, everybody? Alright, so to get everything simple, I'm going to be drawing, and then I'm going to be talking to you guys about some of my, hey, Pea Shooter. I'm going to be talking about some of my D&D, stories, some of the stuff that may have happened. How's the music sound compared to my voice? Are you able to hear me alright? Please should have helped me. I don't know. Alright. So we're gonna make a simple person. Actually, I'm gonna make it a little easier. I'm gonna take this book from Player Handbook, and I'm gonna choose a character from inside of it. I'm gonna try to draw it. What's a good one? What's a good one? Now I'm going based off of another picture, so it may not be the same, or it may be. Uh, just give me a basic idea of how I want them to look. Hello and welcome. Come on and join in the chat. We're gonna be talking. I'm gonna be talking about some of my D&D stories, as well as answering any questions about the stories that you guys may have. I gotta try to do my best to make sure that that does not happen.
You need a quick way to accept payments online, just like that. Try Square Online checkout.
And no, I don't have. I don't have anything for yeah, to make sure that there's no commercials. So let's go ahead and make something. Um, Give a bit of a mashup. We're gonna do something a little fun. So let's go ahead and start with painting. Now, I'm using Illustrator. Normally when I draw, I use the shit. I'm not even used to using this. I normally use the animation creator because it's so much easier for me to draw animations than it is for me to draw actual pictures. So let's go ahead and give this a try. Alright, nicely done. New layer, just straight up add that in. Alright, so we're going to go back to the first one. We're going to set this up. So this is going to be the very first character I've ever made, that I've ever created, like in any of my games. And a lot of people know this character from a TV show because I use the exact same name. However, the last name was changed. Meet Luffy Rainbringer. Rainbringer. Luffy Rainbringer is a character that I had created for my first session with my uncles and the friends. He's not that hard to deal with. He was always I don't know, like I've never had a problem with him, probably because he was my character, but There we go. I've always been a fan of katanas. Always been a fan of katanas. So when it came time to choose a weapon for my character, it was a katana, hands down. Had to be katana. That or it had to be one of those blades from Naruto. 'Cause back then I was a Naruto fan before we became what it is. And when I mean fans, I mean this thing was, and I made sure I asked the DM to make it exactly what it was and what it should have been. Perfect. So out of all this, you would think, okay, so he decided to go with a fighter. Nope. I went with something that I thought I could handle. That's not fucking good. Alright. It'll work. At least for now. Alrighty then. So, Luffy Rainbringer was the character I had. Now, Luffy was by far the most powerful character I've ever created. See, Luffy was what a lot of people would consider extremely annoying and extremely overpowered. Why? Because I even thought so. See, Luffy was a part of a class that the DM created. Or what I was pretty sure the DM created. See, Luffy had long hair. Now, a lot of you guys might be thinking, that's not, abnormal. A lot of characters, male or female, have long hair. Well, his hair was, how do I say this? His hair was rainbow. Only way I can say it. He was, what was he called it? An Andonian. See, the Andonian was a race of magical wielders. Now, magical wielders, magical races. There's plenty of those. Yeah. But these were ones that were born to the point where magic was quite literally in their blood. They had what was known as a anti-magical field. And this anti-magical field turned everything within the radius of it that was magic off. You couldn't use spells, nor could you use items. But an Andonian was different. An Andonian was something, again, I didn't create it, was something that was made out of pure energy. And Luffy was a little special. Like, of course he was, you'd always think that your own character was special in some way. Well, Luffy's father was the god of magic, and his mother a saint. But Luffy had an unfortunate accident. See, Luffy went insane. Luffy started believing that the only way to stop the great evil was to kill his own mother. And that's a little strange in multiple different ways because he was told some information that there had to be balance in the world. Well, Luffy started thinking there has to be balance. My mother, who is supposed to be the greatest good in the world, can't be here. She shouldn't be alive. Because if the greatest good was in the world, that means the greatest evil had to be part of the world. See, Luffy was, at the time, my getaway character. He wasn't really something too terrific. It was a going based off of the world that my DM had created. And going based off of what he created, Luffy was born. He had set up a world where your choices made the outcome. Your choices were your own. And I incorporate that into my own D&D games.
3. Wash hands often. 4. Cover your cough. 5. Sick, call ahead.
There we go. Hey, not so bad. Oh shit. Not what I wanted. Luffy's race has multicolored hair. His hair isn't his choice normally. His race has a ability that allows him to change the color of his hair of any part of the rainbow. See, he believed that in books. Oh. There we go. Inside books, there lied the answer to a lot of things. He loved magic. He believed that inside books could create many things. He loved tinkering with things. He loved tinkering with technology that was completely out of his capabilities to even fathom, let alone try to understand. He believed that magic was used to create the world. Magic was probably the only way to save it. Through a lot of the time, his allies just thought he was some bratty kid that always got his way. But that was never it. That was never Luffy. I run with, or I ran with people that if you didn't correct people, what they said about your character stuck. See, I started thinking these guys were controlling my character, and I had no control over it. This was one of the few things that upset me the most about the set of people I played with. I loved D&D. I loved Magic. But I didn't like the way that they played because it took away power from my imagination. And it was just so infuriating. So I decided to let them do what they wanted. I decided I'll figure something out. My character's my character. I'll write him his story and I'll make it worth playing. That's what I always thought D&D was. Something that was meant to have fun with. Something that was made to be fun to play. And over time, I just got sick of having to redo every single thing. The DM would change stuff over and over and try to keep the same characters, and it's like, there's not a new story here. You're just trying to redo a story that you wanted to do before. And it just got me so messed up, so confused, that I just got sick of it. So eventually, I gave up. I still love Dungeons and Dragons. I still play Dungeons and Dragons. But that was one group I played with, I had fun with, and I had to say goodbye to. See, I needed something new. I needed something that I knew I wasn't going to regret. And playing with that group, I slowly started to regret ever playing Dungeons and Dragons. However, then I found a group before I found the ones I play with now that was a lot of fun. It was still the D&D session. It was still the group that I once played with, shaved down to a few people. And it was one of those things where it was just I don't know. I had a blast. I played Luffy to the best of my abilities. And I gave him every last bit of attention. I fell in love with this dude. I cared that much about this character. I wanted to make everything possible. So, more and more times they try to recreate the setting. And I quit. I stopped wanting to be part of that group. See, slowly, he began to crack. he began to show so much of what he never wanted to be. See, Luffy smiled, had fun, but in the same return, he was never really certain. He always felt like there was something hidden from him. Something that was there, but not there. He learned something about his mom that he honestly wished he never found out. His mom, the woman that made him who he was, split her soul, split her heart into two. And Luffy started believing that his was next. Luffy knew a part of his life wasn't over. So he kept living. But instead of trying to fix it the way everybody else wanted him to, he did what he thought was right. He started looking for a way to quit and kill his own mother. It was something that not even he thought was right to think. But he never understood why. Why did his mother do something like that? However, he never got the answer he was looking for. Luffy still, to this day, at least as far as I know, wanders the world, trying to find the answer, knowing that he will never be the same. See, he knew his father was something of a god because his magic was that was beyond normal. But it wasn't something that he could easily find or fix himself. Luffy believed that the only way to fix the world was by taking over everything. Taking the spot that was once his father's. To gain the power and the knowledge of all magic. He planned to seal off everything. Make the world fall. Make the gods fall. Because as far as he knew, to everybody that believed, people believed that his mother was an angel sent by the gods to help them. Luffy knew that couldn't keep happening. He knew that something, anything, would have to happen. Luffy hated every bit of his idea. He started collecting these weird materials that was said that if they connected in any way, they would cause an explosion, even on the most smallest amount of scales. But he didn't care. His plan was to make this sword that was going to take the souls of two individuals and permanently trap them inside a powered crystal. Now, this power crystal would eventually be lost to time, as it would have the one thing that nobody could ever get close to: a nuclear bomb that surrounded it. Two materials at a larger scale than what he was told about, placed in a way that if anybody tried to obtain the crystal that was not blood related to him, would cause an eruption. And the eruption would take the planet, as the explosive would be so intense and immense that it would not only rupture a crater in the side of the world, but cause the entire core of the planet to erupt and enclose on itself. It was something that he thought up and planned through the entirety of the sessions until he himself was lost to time. The only thing that he has left that I own, to know that he ever existed, was a piece of paper, and I still have it, that shows that he used to be a level 10 wizard. Luffy trusted people far too easy. Luffy hated the thought of treating people as if they were morons or idiots. You knew who you were. You knew what you were doing. So did he. He fractured everyone's thoughts. And when everything started to twist and turn to a path that he couldn't control, he did his utmost best to wait and flip it back. He had a mission, and he could not let anyone nor anything stop him. You see, a lot of things that a lot of people didn't know about Luffy. He loved everything. He loved the world. He loved the world of magic, but he saw what people were doing to it, and he had to stop it. It was then and there that he knew that it was time. And I knew no matter how this was going to go, the DM was always going to change it to where the big bad couldn't be defeated by low-leveled people. I busted my ass trying to get my character, Luffy, set onto the right track. Set up to where I wanted him. But nobody wanted that. Everybody wanted this magnificent story. Luffy was never supposed to be the fractured. He was supposed to help repair the fracture. Now I take my time and I make stories up to repair what was once taken. And then it became something incredible. Okay. There we go. See, the brighter the color of the hair of the Andonian, the more powerful they were. They had a sister race, I believe the DM described them to be. The sister race was... what's the words I'm looking for? A bunch of pricks. Eh? They had a power that was beyond the control of any Andonian. They had the power to negate magic itself. They could take magic and it wouldn't affect them whatsoever. It was odd, strange, and weird. Luffy thought it was cool. Luffy thought, if they could do it, why can't we? He started devising plans and ideas that could potentially save the world. And you know what? He almost did it. He had people believing that he was there for the greatest good. But in reality, only me and Luffy knew the truth. Because I didn't like how the DM would try to railroad what my character was going to do. And Yeah, there's probably many ways that I could have tried to stop it, change it, do something different. But they were the only D&D family, I guess you could say, that I had. So things like what I couldn't do became something that I kept by myself. A lot of things change. A lot of people change. But I know one thing. Luffy was the best character I've ever made in any of my campaigns because I always had this connection with him. And a lot of people are going to go, "Well, that's how you play D&D." And I understand that. I do. That's how I believe everybody should. That's why I'm an asshole to the people that I play Dungeons and Dragons with, when I'm the uh, dungeon master. I don't tell them that the very first character that they made was meant to be a throwaway character. Cause what's the point? You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to get used to this character. You're supposed to like this character. At any point, the character could die. That's the point. At any point, you could have this massive bomb just drop out of nowhere. And it just makes it that much better. It's just one of those things where everything just ever so slightly seems that much brighter. When you achieve something, when you overpower a bad guy, that's always been my favorite thing. You do it because you believe, not because people think it's what you deserve. It's what you earned, and it's how things go. Every time I stop and think of what could be done, what could be changed, what can make this better, I get this distinguished feeling in the back of my head. What would I have Luffy do? What kind of world would he create? What madness, now that he was crazy, would come out, whether it be the light or the dark? What would make its little self known? And from that little self, what would make the biggest change or difference? It's always bugged me, always made me wonder, why did I choose him? Couldn't I just chose somebody else? Why was I so intent on him being something that nobody else saw? And it dawned on me. He was somebody I wanted to be. The person with the power to change everything. I made him. I created this character to make a stand and make his voice heard. I didn't make him to sit around and have fun. I made him to make a difference. I wanted everything to be something that was solid. To make everything noticeable. I wanted everyone to know that this guy wasn't some joke. He wasn't some trash that just got created because I wanted to play. I knew I was getting into a heavy story-based game. Though the people I played with did drugs, they smoked. Smoking's not a drug, it's a plant. Well, tell that to my job. Can't smoke no more. But it was everything. I made Dungeons and Dragons my close to damn near my religious belief. I loved the stories to be woven, the thought of creating this world that is going on even though the D&D characters aren't there. Even before Dungeons and Dragons, I wanted to be a game creator. I wanted to be a reason why a game was created. I, to this day, have my own thoughts. Uh-oh. No, don't die on me. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Alright, hold on. Oh. I clicked the button and it caused the damn thing to shut off. I wanted stuff to mean every single thing. The thoughts, the words, everything. I wanted the world to just understand that I was alive. I was standing. I was living. I was breathing. And this guy, he was my relief. He was my thought. He was my first creation. I continue his legacy by creating things that shouldn't exist, by weaving tales that make no sense, crashing and smushing and destroying reality in games. That's why I make the Palace Run. A twisting and turning palace that ever thought of isn't really that massive. But the winds and turns and stories and puzzles that were weaved into it caused a lot of confusion upon everybody who played it. Everything was what it should be. And as far as I cared, everything was what it was. I loved and I love every moment of every game I've ever played. Nothing will ever change how I feel about this game and about this community. A lot of people may not understand, but if they don't and they want me to explain it, I will. But I care so much about the people that welcome the insanity that people think of, the mind breaking and mind confusing stories that can just immediately be created. Nothing is supposed to make sense, and nothing ever should. Just saying. So now on to the games that I'm playing now with the people that I'm playing with. I look at the creations I've created. I think of Luffy. Sure. I mean, there's probably been a lot of creations that people have made and thought of old characters. Now I create these monstrosities. I don't care if my players ever look at the monster handbook. Sure, go ahead. Doesn't mean the stats are ever going to be the same. I tweak, I modify, and I make everything extremely dangerous and extremely understanding. You can die easily. You have to think. This is not one where you're gonna be able to solo monsters or kill things just because you're a low level. God's Tower is the name I created for it. I did it after reading the webcomic or comic book or manga or whatever you want to call it of God's tower. A tower that was devised by God to test those that wish to be worthy of the tower. But I took it one step forward. It wasn't a test, it was a way of life. In this tower, there stays many gods that have once been born, but now have perished, or are still living. You're not entirely sure because you don't know unless you roll. I created this world on one virtue and only one virtue: possibility. I never tell my players they can't do something. I tell them anything and everything is their choice and everything is a possibility. Now, whether or not they actually take that up to heart is up to them. I'm not going to tell them how they feel, what they see. On a passive perception, they might get a small detail, regardless of how big their passive perception would be. But their roles themselves are where it matters. What they ask changes everything. How they ask changes everything. How they talk and deal with NPCs changes everything. I made a game, a creation, going based off the thought of this one tower, and on top of it, a single absolute wish. Many come, only few survive, and not many even know if the top is a real thing. As the top of this tower, you cannot see anything. You can enter it from the bottom, but you cannot see the top. However, by the time you cast fly, because you're going to try to fly through the top, your spell runs out before you could even get anywhere near the top. If you try to climb, you will find that there is no oxygen within 5 feet from 100 feet from the ground to the rest of the way up to the tower. Any who have gone through there and decided to try to fly using their wings will find out there is no oxygen, there is no air, there is no wind, and if there's any kind of wind whatsoever, it is being yanked down by gravity that is intensified the higher up you are. Every god that have ever existed is now a part of this tower. They create a room that takes 100 feet, and then after 100 feet is done, another god creates a room, and then another, and another. Now, there are gods from all over dimensions that's brought to this tower. This is a tower, a crypt, a bed for those that perished and those that wish to create and finish their last creation of a world before dying. Many of you guys are going, but that's not how Dungeons & Dragons go. Well, congratulations. Welcome to Homebrew. Anybody who doesn't know, Homebrew is a home version of Dungeons & Dragons where I or anybody creates a world based off of the Dungeon Masters, since I was a Dungeon Master, since I am the Dungeon Master of this world, creations, thoughts, feelings. If I tell you that this world has that which eats magic, best believe that such a thing exists. Have you noticed I didn't take any out of any of the black that's in the hair? Because that's part of the rainbow. Black is part of the rainbow. Nothing will change. Everything will stay the same. And that's what I'm happy about. I don't know where the fucking paint bucket is. I wouldn't even know where to look. Let's see. Paint bucket. I probably spelled that shit wrong. I don't want brush, I want bucket. Blob tool, nope. 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 Symbol strainer tool. I don't know even what that is. Nope. Nope. See, I don't know where the paintbrush would be at. Cause I don't use this. Okay, so I have to fill this. Select a solid fill color first. Okay, I see. So I gotta come over here and I gotta do this. Ah, I did it with the pen again. Fuck. Okay. Please select a symbol instance of the select a symbol. I'm not sure what that means. Is that where I gotta go? And then do this. And do this. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know. Shit. Only thing I can think of is like painting, like going here, and like making another one. New layer, layer 3, and just go in the background. Take and go to the properties. Increase this size by 16. Layers, layer 3. Okay. So because this one doesn't have the white or anything that is filled within certain spots, it's gonna be one of those difficult ones, isn't it? Shit. Layers, go here. Go edit type. No. Alright. So you know what? Let's go here. Let's do this one. Property. Yeah. Oh, let's increase that by 100 points. What? Hold up. Edit, unread. There we go. Take that off. Hit this. Bring that back up. Now erase the shit out of this. Fuck you mean? You know what? Not even worried about it. Not even worried about it. We'll just keep going, right? Just keep it going. So I've been working on a animation that I really want to get up and running, but for some reason it's not encoding it so I can put it on YouTube. I don't know what's going on or what's stopping it, but hopefully it gets fixed, or hopefully it fixes itself so I don't have to worry about it. If I have to, I'll bring it up. I think it looks pretty decent right now, but it's a little art project that I'm doing. And I mean art project because I'm not very good at animations, and I just want to get it done. 'Cause I love animations. Like, I'm not going to say anything bad about animations because animations are fucking awesome. The thought that takes into it, and you can't have video games without animations. You can't. And anybody that tells you you can is a fucking liar. Because animations, how they run, how they move, how they talk, all animations. Anime, obviously, animations. Like, there we go. Perfect, 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 perfect. There we go. Nicely done, nicely done. Here's a thing I want to ask, Mr. Pea Shooter. Are you still in the nice little chat that should, or I wish was here? Any questions about any stories, or do you want to hear another story? At least I got you here. You're like my buddy. My little pea buddy. Oh, I will let you know. I got a message from work. They're thinking about starting back up the 29th through January 12th, I believe, or the 3rd, because then we have our July 4th thing that, you know, we all get off for. But yeah, just the thing. Nope, edit, undo. Don't worry, no question you can ask is gonna throw me off. I got any kind of questions ready to be answered.
best music for your videos? Then you should check out Artlist. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you freedom. Freedom!
So fresh, so new.
Freedom!
That's a commercial. I don't want to get copyrighted, so understand that freedom stuff, I have no control over whether or not that gets played. That's a commercial.
And the license covers everything. Go to Artlist now and start creating.
All right. Okay, we're gonna do a purplish right now, right near here. There we go. So, Pea Shooter, do you have any questions, or do you want to hear another story? All right. Let's go one. Well, I already did a post up to show how my little brothers act to Dungeons and Dragons, and honestly, I thought it was hilarious. Liam O'Brien went on to say that he teaches his kids how to play Dungeons and Dragons, which is cool. I tried to do that after hearing it. However, what I didn't do that Liam O'Brien even said to make sure you do is not to scare the kids. I scared the shit out of my little brothers so bad that my brother now believes that a raccoon is out to get him. So I was told no more D&D for them, and I am not to bring it up to them, is what I was told. I had my brother honestly thinking that there was going to be a raccoon sitting outside of his window on a rainy day to get him. And every time there's been a rainstorm, he'd run into my mom and stepdad's bedroom, climb in bed, and tell my mom, "Don't worry, mommy, I'ma protect you. I'ma protect you from the big bad raccoon." My mom found out I'm the one that said that. I'm the one that got him, like, kind of mixed up and misunderstanding what it was that, he had seen, I guess you could say. And, Mama didn't like that too much. She didn't like that one motherfucking bit. I've run I've run a D&D session with my uncle before as me as the DM, and I was running it for everybody while we were waiting for the DM to actually get there. And it was more about like how the world was more like uh, Legend of Zelda: The Breath of the Wild, where there was this blood moon that would come out and monsters would be born from the darkness. And there was only a certain amount of time for them to get ready before this would happen. However, they didn't last very long due to the fact that the DM got there and decided that he was ready to play the game. Well, his game. So I had to be very polite and give it back. Give him back control of the entire system because technically we were there to have his campaign. Ah, that sucks. I hope it's not too bad. Oh, come on, really? Edit, undo, edit, undo, motherfucker. I hope it doesn't lag too much and too bad for you. I'm glad you liked the story. Let's see. I don't have many D&D stories. I'm hoping to have some later down the line with the D&D groups. Oh, I could tell you about the one that the furthest one my players have gone so far. The D&D group has a bunch of now level 4s. The level 4s are now on their way through a city. However, they were not always level 4s. It took them a good few sessions to even level up. And I've been doing them by, their encounters. Sometimes, depending on how good they do on rolls and how good they impress me with their role-playing skill. I would then set up some experience for them. Is it lagging more than normal pea shooter, or is it like doing the same kind of lagging as it normally would? I wonder if there was just a spike. Okay. Now this needs to go out a little bit more. There we go. Just give a little bit of a magic. Bit of a shadow magic to it, What the fuck is with that circle? That damn thing seems to keep happening almost every few minutes. What the fuck is with that? There we go. Nice and glowy. There we go. Perfect. That's good to know. Alright. So here's a little story that hadn't happened that far back. It's actually how the very first uh, Discord uh, session I've ever run actually went. You have it's actually how everybody met in there. A lot of them were already in the tower, and they had traveled and found this inn, and that's where they met one of their newest companions, one that wasn't too shabby built, wasn't looking like he was a homeless person, looked more like a kid that had a family inn that ran really good, and looked like he had to do a summer job. It was quite a sight to have, to behold, if you ever had or were ever there to sit in and see. You had a dragonborn, you had a human, you had another human, and you had a tiefling. And you had what we all referred to him as Spider Boy. Now, I'm not meaning a guy in a Spider Man costume. I mean half human, half spider. This Spider Boy was quite literally a little boy. Probably no older than about 10, 15 years old. Upon him, oh, there we go. Upon him becoming a man, I guess you could say, because technically he's still a boy, he was given a task to go out and explore. However, he actually ran away from home. Now I'm just playing. He was taken. He was taken from what he believed to be his mother. In actuality, he just now recently found out was not. He had been always disliked and hated his father for the life of him, because he believed that his mother had taken him away to protect him, and his father was trying to split them apart. Which is understandable to a kid. pops up, and boom, baby. Awesome. If I had a fucking can, I'd throw it on there. Paint bucket. But he found a few friends, traveled with them, and upon them meeting their new companion, they made travel. And a late night, they were accused of a murder that they didn't commit, and they had a choice of either staying there or running, and they decided to book it. Upon them running, one of the players had to leave, so I kind of talked to him because he wasn't going to be there for a few days, and talked to him about what may or may not have happened. All he remembers is that he did something and it caused him to be placed on a higher level, which everybody at this point was a level 2, and he just became a level 3. And upon doing so, he ended up with a powerful spell, and no one is entirely sure why, but some reason in the middle of the night, somebody casted a spell on the center monolith of a statue that sat dead center of the entire city. And upon them doing that, the spell had dispelled whatever it was that was keeping this creature. But this massive, colossal sized dragon, a wingspan of 200 feet from tip to shoulder blade. It was a gigantuous dragon, a beautiful, sparkly scaled white dragon. And it was set free. And it traveled. It destroyed the entirety of the city. But it traveled and traveled before landing within the forest close towards mountains of ice. The massive size disappearing just over the mountains. Upon the walk of the travelers, this creature had left many in its wake. Crystals and frozen bodies, harmless animals, monstrosities that were once large creatures that had just been frozen to the point of no longer having any forms of life. It was there that they understood that this dragon wasn't a good one. Or so they thought. Upon meeting up with the dragon, they found that the large dragon of white scales was the mother of the Dragonborn in their party. The Dragonborn being a green-scaled dragon and a white-scaled mother. Upon numerous amounts of arguing and fighting, it was simply easy to understand that this Dragonborn was taken by the mother's sister that blamed the father for the Dragonborn's mother's disappearance. Upon doing so, there we go. Upon doing so, it was easy yet hard for them to understand why such a person would do such a thing. That was not what I wanted. Okay, let's go ahead and hit this and hit that. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Okay. There we go. Alright. Yep. Alright, so this gives you an understanding. Yeah. I know, right? It destroys everything that is Dungeons and Dragons, but it's how the game goes. See what, and I don't know if I want to share this because I don't know if the other players will be playing. What do you think? Should I share a little bit of a backstory about their characters that not even the players know? Or should I just leave it for myself? Alright. See, what the characters do know is that this Dragonborn, whatever the reason may be for the way they are, this Dragonborn had fuck it. I'll just do this and I'll redo them in. What they had and what the other players had found out about this new Dragonborn friend, or this Dragonborn friend that they have traveled so far for. Every time he got mad, his scales would turn red, and instead of breathing out poison for since he was a green Dragonborn, while he was mad and he used his breath attack, it was fire. It was something that neither one of them, not even the Dragonborn himself, quite understood. Even though, you know, the Dragonborn is a barbarian, it wasn't hard to understand that he didn't know what was going on.
Searching for music for your next video? Then you need to check out Artlist. With amazing
Upon
music
doing a
editing
lot of
and one simple license that covers everything.
things that
Artlist is the
many
music
didn't
licensing
understand or
platform for
many
all
didn't
creators.
care to try to understand, they
Start
went
now
on their
with
way.
the perfect
They
song.
traveled, they had fun, they played,
Artlist,
they
made for
talked,
creators.
but they stayed focused on their goal. Each of them knew that atop of this tower set a single wish. And they knew they could
Listen
do
up, soap
anything
and
they
shower?
wanted in this world.
You probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you.
I'm not listening to that bullshit. Alright, so they have found out that something about him isn't right. His emotions seem to trigger something that's a little off putting. Yet one of the humans, before they left the settlement, gave everything he owned, all his gold, all his items, starting and non-starting, things that he's already bought with cash he has rolled for, to purchase a single gun. A large rifle. One that had called out to him. A gun that upon sleeping he found was Pandora's box in a different form. Pandora's box that allowed him to once a week, in-game week, cast massive cure wounds, which allowed him to cure the entire party for max HP. Now, it was set up where that was the actual bare minimum that it would heal, was because of how low their HP was, that would instantly heal them because they were just starting out. Through trials of meeting monsters and meeting other things inside this world, this tower, it was beyond confusing, beyond incredibly irritating for them. They had lost many of their allies, and now they stood before them a fight. Now I'm a very secretive DM. I had them create characters, secondary characters, just in case their characters had died. Upon doing this, what I did not tell them was I was taking their newly created characters and I was putting them against them. I was controlling these characters they made themselves. And upon 3 of them going off away from the other group, they ran into an altar, into the 3 creations they each made with the same powers that they gave those creations. Wizards with spells that were extremely powerful. Druids that could change their form. And a Warforged that was bloodthirsty and didn't care. Alright, so and we're gonna go here, we're gonna hit this, we're gonna do that, then we're gonna go here, here, and we're gonna turn up the darkness on this. There we go. We're just gonna go oh, come on, don't do stop doing this to me. There we go. Ah. Aw, come on. That's not what I chose, you bastard. Alright then. So upon him finding out that it was Pandora's box, he found out that there was 7 little girls in there other than the one that was talking to him. There's a total of 8 little girls, no older than 10 years old, each having their own name, each having their own personality, and each having their own desire for this new master that had claimed them. Upon them fighting this new set of foes, they find out that this new foe was extremely powerful, and the once only cleric of the entire party, the one with the gun of pandemonium, no, I'm just kidding, of well, it's the box of not even sure how to explain what the true name of that gun is, because not even the owner, not even the player knows. So I'm going to keep the actual name secret. But upon realizing this, he had died And the one girl named Hope had hugged him from behind. A different feel, a different everything that he's ever known about her, pressed against his back. A woman's voice that was deeper than that of a child's tells him, it's going to be okay. I will protect you. I will give you my everything. And upon doing that, he watches the darkness shatter and come back to life with breath in his lungs. And this caused the others to look at him a little weirdly. And thus, they move forward, deeper into the tower. And upon doing so, they finish this treasure hunt to gain the last bits of knowledge they need to open this chest. And upon them finally opening this chest, they are presented with something or someone. They see a metallic, metalish silver slime. And it's not a normal standard slime. This is humanoid. As this humanoid young being stands there before them, they find out that there is a swarm of undead coming towards them down a corridor, and they start getting into a fight, and the large Dragonborn had gotten a hammer that was left behind by his mother and started swinging it around. And upon doing so, this large hammer takes a full entire turn to even use. A full action, a full entire turn. And hits everything within 5 feet of him, friend and or foe. And everybody around him has to do a dexterity save. Upon saving, they take no damage. Upon failure, they take full damage. He does it and catches one of the other players in his twisting, and upon doing so, caused that character to slowly start dying. The slime looks at one of the other characters and asks, do they want him to save the player? They said yes. He nodded, approached the player that had just died, and merged within their bodies, bringing shackles around their wrist and bringing them back to life. Now shackled, and has now metallic gloves on that seem to be goo, but also solidified and hardened, almost as if they were actually gloves. Upon them coming back to life, they say, that's where we're going to end the session, and that's where we're going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. What do you guys think? What do you think, Pea Shooter? Do you think it turned out pretty good? I think it could be better, don't you? Think it needs a little more touching up? What do you think? I also want to say thanks again to Audio Library Plus and Sun Night Moon Broken Summer audio release from them. This entire thing, all the music was brought to you by them. Go check them out if you want to hear some great music. I know there's so much light and there's so much white. It is still unfinished. It still has to be painted for the rest of the way. I still got to get the clothes. I'm going to be doing something with the background, and I'm going to do that on the next one. Because I do plan to have more stories for everybody to hear. I still have other stories to be told. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. Let me know you want more of this. And again, Peter Shooter, have you seen the present I made for you yet? And then one of the other videos, have you seen that? What do you think? You like it? Looks like you, don't it? Hey man, not everybody can be as goofy looking as you. Sorry. Alright, with that, thank you guys so much for watching. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Sorry, live stream. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow is Saturday. And Saturday is the day I've got to go make more stories for D&D Talk. So thank you guys so much for coming. I appreciate you guys kicking back, kicking it with me, having some good time. Cooling down. It's getting hot as hell out here. Stay cool, stay fresh, stay at home if you can help it. For those of you that are at work, for those of you that are at work and busting your ass, thank you so much for doing so. Because of people such as nurses and doctors, police officers and firefighters, we are keeping everything going. For those that are out there making food, thank you for me not having to cook. Thank you so much. For those of you that are just out there trying to stay at home, thank you for staying at home to keep all this epidemic contained. And I appreciate everybody, and I appreciate you all. Thank you, and good night. You guys have a bomb-ass day, noon, or night, or depending on when you guys are watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.